So we're going to get started. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, partners, sponsors, and cherished supporters of Solana Center for Environmental Innovation, welcome to a truly momentous occasion, our 40th anniversary celebration. I wanted to do that. Tonight, we gather not only to commemorate 4 decades of tireless dedication to environmental stewardship, but also to honor the profound impact that Solana Center has had on our community and well beyond. My name's Russell Levan, and I'm the president of the board of directors. Still can't believe that. At Solana Center for Environmental Innovation. As your master of ceremonies and a long-time dumpster diving activist and, an environmental advocate, it is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you on this auspicious evening. And I said auspicious correctly. I wasn't joking. We have, I really wasn't kidding. Okay. For 40 years, the Solana Center has been a catalyst for change and a steadfast advocate for the preservation of our planet. From humble beginnings, starting the first curbside recycling in San Diego County, to becoming a formidable force in environmental education and sustainable practices, from composting initiatives to watershed management, edible food recovery, and organic waste diversion consulting, e-waste recycling, tool lending programs, and science-based research projects. I could go on and on, but you get the idea. Solana Center has been at the forefront of innovative solutions that are transforming the way we interact with our environment. Maybe that's why innovation is in our name. I was there. The journey of Solana Center is a testament to the power of community activism and the unwavering commitment of passionate individuals. For example, look around, folks. If you want to see how environmental progress gets done, you're in a room filled with change makers. So who's out here? Well, we're going to introduce ourselves. If you were involved in the early days of Solana Recyclers from 1983 to 94, during Brooke's era, please raise your hands. Not bad. All right. If you were a Solana enlightened in our second era from 1995 to 2005, the awesome era of the JC, please raise your hands. All right. If the third short era, 2006 to 2014, which started off as the excellent era of Jeff Lindenthal and ended after Jeff left as the era of, well, we'll call it the era of challenge. Please raise your hands. That was 2006 to 14. Nice. And the fourth era, 2014 to 2024, the era of renewed environmental enlightenment, the era of our current illustrious executive director, Jessica Toth. Please raise your hand. And for the new folks in the room that we have not met before, a new era starts right now. First, thank you for coming. And second, don't be shy, raise your hands if we have not met you before. There's a few people, I know. All right, thank you. So if you, other groups, saw those new people, I want to make sure that we make them feel welcome and tell them some of your better stories. All right, I'm feeling good about that. So to finish up, over the next 50 minutes, you'll be hearing more about where Solana started, where we are today, and where we're headed. Pay attention, as there will be a quiz at the end, and the top scorers on the quiz, those folks get to have dinner. Important. Tonight, as we raise our reusable glasses in celebration, let us also raise our voices in solidarity and determination. Together, we can and we will continue to make a difference finding solutions to environmental problems on the road less traveled. So thank you very much, and we're going to begin. So for our first speaker, it will be Mayor Tony Kranz. Mayor Tony Kranz, he's a tree man. He's a tree man, he's a tree hugger, I've seen it. He's a bee man. He has his own beehives, and he's just cool. Cool man. You know, I've known Tony for a couple of decades now, and he's always shown a keen interest in history. He takes lessons learned from history and really applies those lessons to his decision making. Another quality I've observed over the years is Tony's appreciation and respect for the delicate balance of natural systems. He's a genuine friend to the environment and to Solana Center. So without further ado, wait, one more ado. Remember, Tony, you've got 3 minutes. It's just like public comments and city council meeting, without the time donations. Welcome, Tony Kranz, Mayor Tony Kranz.
He said I could have a little bit more time if I needed it. I appreciate the introduction, Russell. Russell and I live in the same neighborhood, and I have really appreciated all of the environmental lessons that I have learned from him. I think he represents kind of the top end of what I would call environmental ethic that Encinitas residents, most of them, believe in, but he takes it to the hill. I'm here, there are a series of proclamations that have been issued in honor of the Solana Center for the Environment. I presented this to them Wednesday at our council meeting, and so I'm not going to read it tonight, but trust me, it says all sorts of nice things, and it is very appreciative of all the work that the Solana Center does for the city of Encinitas. And seeing so many familiar faces, it's really been fun. I had a chat with JC, and she reminded me that she consulted with the city of Encinitas to help us start an environmental commission, and that commission has been one of the most active that the city has, and really has been a leader in advancing environmental policies at the city. And so I appreciate the work that she did to get that going. My own history here in the city is pretty extensive. I moved here in 1960 as a tiny baby. As a early teenager, my friend Tom Field and I would go with his dad out to the landfill out here, which is now the burn site, which is where the Solana Center is now. And we would crawl through the trash in search of gems. And we got to be bottle recyclers. His dad bought him a little cutter, and we would take the top and put it on the bottom, and that would become our wine glass or whatever. We didn't drink, but we made a lot of wine glasses. So, and then I happened to live next door to Jeff Ritchie, and I think many of you may remember Jeff, a great friend and hardworking with EDCO. And I want to acknowledge the work that EDCO does on behalf of our city and all of the work that they have done to advance the work that the Solana Center is doing. They're a vital partner for all of us. And I'm getting the signal to wrap up, so what I want to do to wrap up is I want to introduce Joy Lyons, Council Member District 3, Allison Blackwell is Council Member District 1. Bruce Ehlers of District 4 would be here, but his daughter's getting married tonight. So I think that's a valid excuse, right? I also want to acknowledge former Mayor Catherine Blakespear, who now serves in the Senate. Rinda Viscanta, she's on the San Diego School Board, and I think that's all the elected officials. But before I go, I just want to thank again the Solana Center and all of the supporters of the Solana Center, because the work that you're doing for our communities, the broader communities, not just Encinitas, is paramount and critically important in this day and age. So thank you again. And you're all welcome to come up and read the proclamation. It's got a lot of whereas clauses in it and such, but ultimately what it says is Solana Center is a really awesome organization. So thank you all.
And now we're going to be getting to hear from Brooke Nash, the founder behind Solana Recyclers. The buck started here. Without Brooke, none of us would be here this evening. I didn't know Brooke when she was a little girl, but rumor has it she had dreamt of a future in garbage, in the industry. Okay, it's not true, but apparently what is closer to the truth, is that soon after graduating from college at UCSD, she was talking to a friend, Shane Rohan, and he's in here somewhere, who is here this evening, and Shane suggested that it would be a lot easier for people to recycle if they didn't have to haul their recyclables to the recycling center. Now, Brooke started not only dreaming, but living the dream of being a recycler. So I know that's a little closer to the truth, but why don't we just have Brooke tell us directly how this all came to be. So please welcome to the stage the founder of Solana Recyclers, Brooke Nash.
All right, I brought a prop. I know a lot of you are youngsters, but if you recognize this, you will have been in Encinitas. So stand up or wave your hand if you remember when Solana Recyclers was picking up your recyclables. Wow, pretty, not bad. I know Russell's got some questions for me, but I just want, first of all, thank everybody for being here and thank you for inviting me. When I found out that Solana Center was going to do a 40th anniversary, I figured if I was going to fly all the way out here from Boston, where I moved 30 years ago, when I left Solana Center, I wanted to see a bunch of my old friends. And so I went hunting. I hunted down people from all over the state, and a bunch of you are here tonight. And it's amazing to see folks. I want to take a second just to ask you folks to stand up. The people in this room are former County of San Diego officials, and there are many people who drove a truck for Solana Recyclers, who volunteered handing out door to door our recycling calendars, who distributed these buckets up and down the streets of Solana, first Solana Beach, then Encinitas and Del Mar, who answered the phones, who drew and designed our collection routes, who decorated the trucks for parades, and pretty much everything else you can imagine. It was a labor of love, and I'm just so thrilled to be here. So stand up. Pat is one of our longtime volunteers who handed out many flyers. We staged recycling bucket distribution. So I just want to remind Mayor Kranz that before there was EDCO, there was Solana Recyclers, and we were picking up the recyclables. It was 1983 when we started as a group of volunteers in Solana Beach, and in early 1987, Warren Schaefer, the first city manager of Encinitas, called me up and said, "We want to get recycling started in Encinitas. Can you come down to my office and meet with me?" We were a tiny nonprofit with a couple trucks, volunteers, and a few paid people. So I said, okay, we'll work up a proposal for you, Warren. I came back and I said, but here's the thing. We don't have any money to buy trucks. And I've gone to a couple banks and they said, we're not going to loan money to a nonprofit with, a couple $1,000s in the bank. Well, as I said, I think Encinitas is going to need to finance this, be our bank. And the city council agreed. They voted on it and bought the trucks, and we paid them back every penny. But that wouldn't have happened without some real serious innovators. The first city council of Solana Beach, Marjorie Gaines, Rick Shea, Ann Olmsted, and a couple others. So that's an example, I think, of government thinking outside the box and creatively solving problems to make change happen. So I thought that was an interesting footnote to share with you all. And I'm going to turn it back over to Russell because he's got a few questions, I think.
The first one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we're going to go on to, so you were here for 11 years, and then you moved on to the East Coast in 1994, and we're curious, how did your years at Solana Center impact your life and the work that followed?
Well, little did I know when I was driving that truck around Solana Beach in 1983 that I would spend my entire career in recycling. I left here and ended up in 1995, starting at the in state government in Massachusetts. I worked for the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection for almost 28 years. I retired last summer. It was a hard job to leave. I loved every minute of it. And I ended up, for the first couple of years, running the grant program and giving out recycling bins and trucks and education materials to most of the 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. And then I went on to lead the municipal recycling program there. So what I always said about this field is that it is the most dynamic field I think you could work in. There's nothing static about it. It's always changing. The challenges keep coming, and the opportunities to innovate, to find solutions, to identify partners, to collaborate, and to keep moving forward. And that's what kept me for 40 years and doing a job I loved in recycling and waste prevention.
Great. So now, after 40 years of working in recycling and waste prevention, what do you want folks to think about after they leave here tonight?
So, wow, a couple of things. So I took a tour this morning of Solana Center and was just absolutely blown away by the incredible work they're doing. I've kept up from afar, and I do read the newsletters, but it was so much more than I understood. I think that, we know that recycling is actually an end-of-tailpipe solution. It's that the hierarchy, we've probably all heard of reduce, reuse, recycle. There's a reason that reduce comes first, prevent waste from happening before you have to recycle it, reuse whatever we can, repurpose it, and then recycle or compost what's left over. And we're not going to recycle our way out of this mess. Those of you who are recycling professionals are probably familiar with that phrase. There's so much more we need to do. If you think about the iceberg, the picture of an iceberg with the tip of the iceberg above the water, that represents what we discard and throw away or recycle or compost. The rest of that iceberg under the water represents all of the materials, energy, water that are extracted from virgin materials extraction, processing, refining, manufacturing, shipping, bringing them to our local grocery stores, to our big box stores, to wherever we shop. We have to look upstream. We have to do better. And Solana Center is giving this community all kinds of ways to do that. I saw their tool lending library today. We don't all need to own a wheelbarrow. I need a wheelbarrow maybe once or twice a year. I could borrow it from the library of things or the tool library. Maybe you need a post hole digger. How often are you going to use that? Once every 10, 15 years, if that. Borrow one from the tool library at Solana Recyclers.
Legal, only want to do that once.
Okay.
Say.
So there's so many things we can do. They have dishes that you can rent if you are hosting a party and you don't want to use single use plastic. Sure, you could go through a rental service, a caterer, but Solana Center is offering affordable reusable dishware they've done weddings. They've offered them to weddings. We need to get away from our single use plastics. They are harvesting electronics. I talked to George, the electrician who volunteers and helps out with the electronics shed. George goes through and picks out the stuff that's still a working television, a working laptop. One of the staff members there said she got her laptop from the electronics shed. There is value to be harvested. That the last option is to shred that electronic device and then recover the metals. But if you can put that back into circulation, so much the better. So Solana Center is embodying that principle in so many ways. I've forgotten some of the things that I saw there today, but it's really remarkable. I will have to mention the repair and fix it clinics that they're doing. Don't buy a new toaster. Or a new hair dryer, take it to a fix-it clinic and have it repaired. The jacket that the zipper broke on can be repaired. There are so many things we can do to keep our materials in use so they don't wind up burdening our landfills. And I want to say one last thing. Is this my last question?
Yeah. You can tie it up.
But I just have to go here. Recycling has had a rough time in the media the last 5-6 years. It started when China's policy called National Sword said, we don't want your dirty recyclables, United States and Europe. What folks in this room need to know is that recycling is a vital business. It's when you put your recyclables at the curb, that's part of a supply chain. And those are feedstocks for manufacturing the goods and packaging that we find back on our store shelves. It's a billions and billions of dollar industry in the United States. If you've heard the term only 5% of plastics get recycled, what you need to understand is it's how to lie. It's a classic example of how to lie with numbers. The 5% on the top, that's the numerator. That is what the recycling that businesses, homes, restaurants, we put in a recycling bin. What's in that denominator is all the plastic that is manufactured. It's our car bumpers. It's the plastic on that chair seat. It's your polyester fleece jacket. It's your footwear. It's your shower curtain. So in other words, not all of that plastic is designed to be recycled in our municipal recycling system, and it doesn't belong there. So we know that people are eager to recycle, and folks will often do something we call wish cycling. Well, it's plastic. If I put it in, they'll probably figure out how to sort it out. Not a good idea. But I want folks to understand that you can rest assured that if you are following your community's recycling rules and putting the proper items in your bin, those are getting recycled. I met with the marketing and sourcing director for the Plastics Recycling Council or Corporation of California, PRCC. They sell about half of the plastic bottles that are collected in California for recycling. It's a huge business, folks. He's not able to buy enough plastic to meet the demand. He's having to bring plastic over from Germany and from Mexico. The demand is greater than what we are putting in our bins, so we all need to tell our neighbors, tell our brother-in-law, tell the person sitting next to us on the airplane when you tell them you work in recycling and they say, but it doesn't really get recycled. It actually is getting recycled as long as you're recycling right and recycling smart. So I want to leave folks with that thought. Please keep the faith, keep recycling, think upstream, and thank you so much for having me here.
Do my own stage work. So thank you, Brooke. really, as I've talked to her over the last couple of weeks, I really wanted to just have a couple hours for folks like Brooke, JC, and all the folks that are in this room to really come up here and have a nice, long conversation. But we are on a schedule. So thanks very much. So Mike Levin visited Solana Center last year. His genuine excitement learning about our electronic waste recycling program was downright electric. And his enthusiasm for our vermicomposting program was infectious. He really dug the worms. In a small way, I hope his tour further bolstered his interest in championing food waste legislation, where he's actually already been an unstoppable force. Representative Levin supports myriad environmental issues that are dear to our hearts at Solana Center. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce Jessica Ramirez, District Representative for Mike Levin's office.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Ramirez, and I'm here from the office of Congressman Levin. I think he mentioned that, the congressman has been a very strong environmental advocate throughout his career, first as an attorney and now as a member of the House of Representatives. He did get a chance to visit the Solana Center, and he was definitely very impressed with the whole operation. He actually visited on Earth Day. And the programming at Solana Center, which ranges from water stewardship and waste recovery to composting and sustainable living, helps to ensure we are doing what we can to protect our environment. The Solana Center is also doing incredible work to create a culture of sustainability by training students, residents, and businesses on how to implement low waste practices. All these efforts combined are helping to lead us into a greener, brighter future. The congressman has proudly supported various pieces of legislation that help move us towards sustainable practices. One example of that is the Compost Act, which he supported in the House. This legislation would help make more funding available for organizations that focus on composting food and other organic waste, such as the Solana Center. Although he was not able to make it to this wonderful event tonight, he did ask me to attend to present this proclamation in celebration of the Solana Center's 40th anniversary and wish you continued success. On that note, here is the proclamation in recognition of Solana Center for Environmental Innovation's Waste to Wonder 40th anniversary celebration. Congratulations.
We'll get that later. Thank you very much. Okay, next up, tenacious Tasha Boerner. Worked out pretty well, actually. New word, She's lived in different environments and has seen how other cultures and countries deal with environmental challenges. If you've been to Germany, Berlin in particular, where Tasha lived for a number of years, recycling is pretty comprehensive there. You can't live there or even visit, as we did, and not be affected by the systems they have put in place. Back in the United States, when I met Tasha at a PTA meeting, quite a few years ago, she impressed me by how she searched for the root of the problems we faced and found some solid solutions that helped improve our schools and our communities' health and safety, walkability, and environmental progress. PTA, she was active. She got on the Planning Commission. She got on the City Council. She's a congresswoman. Tenacious, right? I think that says it all. So please welcome Ross Tritt, the field representative for Tasha Boerner.
Probably should have checked that first. That'd be quite a bit. But thank you, Russell.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tritt. I'm here representing Assemblymember Tasha Boerner, and it is truly an honor to be here. Our office brings a heartfelt congratulations to Solana Center as they hit a very impressive 40 years of impactful service, and it's been a remarkable journey for them, and they have made a lasting impression not only on the Assembly Members District, but all over San Diego. And recently, our office attended the Solana Center's Textile Waste Awareness Campaign right here in Encinitas. And this event was illuminating and casted light on the significant implications of clothing and textile waste, all while championing sustainable fashion practices. The response from our community was heartening, with a staggering 340 pounds of textiles contributed, an impressive 83% of which were diverted from landfills. And what truly stuck out to our team about this event was its origin. It stemmed from a presentation of a young Girl Scout on textile waste to Solana Center. And witnessing the Solana Center transform her idea into a reality really underscores their commitment to empowering the next generation as stewards of the environment and showcases their deep dedication to community engagement and responsiveness. Thank you. Beyond this initiative, the Solana Center also plays a vital role in providing outreach for state grant programs for San Diego farmers and ranchers. They provide invaluable free webinars, aiding them in accessing up to $100,000 in state grant funding through the California Department of Food and Agriculture's Healthy Soils Program. By facilitating the implementation of conservation management practices that sequester carbon, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and enhance soil health, the Solana Center contributes significantly to the advancement of our agricultural community, thereby positively influencing our agricultural health, environment, and economy. In closing, I'd like to read an excerpt from the resolution that the Assemblymember authored in honor of this event, and it reads, "Now, therefore, be it resolved by Assemblymember Tasha Boerner that Solana Center be commended for its 40 years of dedicated service to the community and extended sincere best wishes for continued success." Congratulations and thank you.
All righty. So next up is going to be Supervisor Lawson-Remer, or her representative. And Supervisor Lawson-Remer worked for Knowles. It's the National Outdoor Leadership Schools several years ago. Knowles teaches you about how to leave no trace when you're out in the wilderness. They teach expedition behavior, leadership, risk management, outdoor skills, and environmental studies. It's a great program. Supervisor Lawson-Remer applies those skills to her day-to-day work as our county supervisor. When you're in the backcountry for weeks at a time, you have to work with nature, with your fellow travelers, and be good at problem solving, as problems do arise in the outdoors. It's a program that changes your life, and it shows when I see Supervisor Lawson-Remer's tenacious advocacy concerning environmental issues. We have Cipriano Vargas, Supervisor Lawson-Remer's manager, here tonight to say a few words. Please welcome Cipriano.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Cipriano Vargas. I serve as the manager of community engagement for Vice Chair Lawson-Remer, and it's truly an honor to be here with you all tonight. Over 4 decades of impact. Currently, the county of San Diego has 3 million people that live in our county. And with that, every day, we have an impact in our region, both in recycling, but also the impact we have on our environment, on our streets, on the trash we see every single day. And so we know these issues are important, not just to the city of Encinitas, but to the entire region here in San Diego County. And so when I got to tour the Solana Center about a year ago now, learning about the impact that happens in our region, not just with city government, but also with our business community, with our school districts. It takes a village. And so tonight we have people from all levels of government, because we know that the city of Vista can't do this alone. It requires the county, it requires the state, it requires federal government. And so on behalf of Vice Chair Terra Lawson-Remer It is my honor to present this proclamation to the Solana Center for their outstanding 40 years of service and declare this 11th day of May to be Solana Center Day throughout San Diego County. Congratulations.
That's cool. So our next speaker is Catherine Blakespear. I just want to get things done. She said those exact words to me during a break at a city council strategic planning meeting several years ago. And she does. In order to do this, she listens, sees the connections between issues, and builds coalitions to get things done. She picks up the shovel and digs next to you in the trenches, literally, and finds and motivates other people to do the same. She seeks advice from experts and goes after solutions undeterred. Senator Blakespear is yet another nature-loving, tree-hugging, history-appreciating environmental champion. I'm so pleased we have the opportunity to hear from Senator Blakespear this evening. She has some special things to say about our very own Jessica Toth. I'm expecting some inspiration. Please welcome Senator Catherine Blakespear.
Well, hello, everybody. Hello. It's so great to be here with all of you sustainability warriors. But yes, we're all driven by the same thing. And so I'm sitting here listening to the founder of the Solana Center, Brooke, coming all the way across the country, and all of the leadership from Tony and the other elected officials who are represented here today. It's amazing to be in this room with all of you. So my name is Catherine Blakespear, and it's my tremendous honor to serve as the state senator representing the 38th district. Thank you. Yes. So the state senate districts in California are very large, bigger than a congressional district. But the heart of mine is right here in Encinitas. And I came from being the mayor of the city of Encinitas and have only known the Solana Center really during the era of Jessica Toth as the executive director. The last 10 years. I was elected first in 2014, right about the time when she took over in this role. And so I'm here to honor the Solana Center, but I also am here to honor Jessica. Because she is really walking the talk, living the ethic, sweating the details, demonstrating the leadership that is making the Solana Center what it is today. And all of the people in this room and all of the board members and all the volunteers that she works with, all of you, everybody makes a difference. We could never do anything alone. But I want to recognize Jessica because I have chosen her as my Senate District 38's Woman of the Year. And that's one of the great things about being a senator is I'm able to recognize these people who have demonstrated such tremendous leadership. And what I mean by leadership when I'm talking about Jessica is that she is dogged, she's consistent, she does thankless hard work herself. She always shows up and she understands systems. She's extremely smart, as we all know, but she understands the system and she sees the path for change. And that is really what we need if we're going to make a difference when it comes to our sustainability and our waste reductions. So right now in the state Senate, I formed a working group to improve our zero waste commitments in the legislature itself. It was very, thank you. I'll just share that it was very disappointing to arrive in Sacramento and find that they're not the champions, there's not the commitment, we're not messaging having a zero waste ethic. There were actually plastic bottles being distributed inside of the break rooms and in the capital of the fifth largest economy, the environmental leader, supposedly, in the world, in California state legislature, that we were distributing plastic water bottles. And I marched my butt right down to the Secretary of the Senate, and I said, this is ridiculous. What? And so they changed out the plastic water bottles, lickety-split, but now they're handing out all of these aluminum water bottles. And I have said, and there are recycling containers, but I said we can have a pitcher of water and a washable cup. And I have my own water bottle. I do not want to use the aluminum water bottles. So anyway, we're still in the process of making this commitment. But we will get there. And I will say that I'm leading this group now, and I think back about the things that Jessica showed me, because she's the one, together with Russell-Levan, did a waste audit at my child's school, elementary school, Ada Harris, where they came around and looked at all the apples and bananas and oranges and milk cartons that were being thrown away, and suggested, why don't we put this on a table? Let the kids just put it over on the table. Don't put it in the trash. And then other kids who might want a little more food can come and get it. It's these kinds of things, but you have to do the waste audit. So I have said this about the legislature, which is essentially the Capitol itself and the office building. Let's do a waste audit. So these are the kinds of things that I get from having the experiences that I had here from the Solana Center. The other thing that I want to mention is, I want to mention the vision statement. And I don't actually know if Jessica wrote this or not, but the vision statement of the Solana Center is the statement I think we all hold as our own personal ethic. And it is, a world with landfills and oceans free of discarded resources. And I'll just read that again. It's an amazing vision statement. A world with landfills and oceans free of discarded resources. Amen. It's amazing. Because what it doesn't say is, it doesn't say open spaces and oceans free of discarded resources. It recognizes that landfills, we should not have the system that's one way, where we're sending all of these things that are resources to sit inert in a landfill. And that is what we're doing all over the place. But the Solana Center, under Jessica's leadership, and before that, Brooke and the others, have been able to say, we can do better. We can do more here. And so it's really a recognition of the tremendous leadership that we have here that is drawing me to come and recognize her. I want to mention to you, though, the bill that I'm the most proud of this year. This is just my second year in the legislature, but it is a bill that says that when you buy your groceries, that you can only take them home in a paper bag, not in a plastic bag. And so this is what the voters asked for 10 years ago. But unfortunately, we've had this loophole, and the loophole has allowed those thicker plastic bags to be considered recyclable and reusable. People are not reusing them, and there is nowhere in California, nowhere that recycles them. And so having this bill say that at the end of buying your groceries, best thing is to, of course, bring your bag back and not have any type of a bag that you need to take from the grocery store, but to not have those plastic bags. And we've done a number of press conferences. There's a lot of good momentum behind this, so I feel very hopeful that it will make it all the way. I had another bill just die, I want to mention to you, that would say in a restaurant, if it's dine in, like a Starbucks, that the cup that you get your drink in would have to be reusable. So they could still, if you're taking it out, great. But if you're dine in, it would have to be a cup that is washed and reused. But unfortunately, a full opposition from industry. Starbucks is already doing it, though. So they are one of the ones that's leading in this way. But, there are so many things that we can do. And I want to encourage all of you to approach my office with your bill ideas. Because I want California to be the environmental leader that we all know that it is and could be. And I wish that I could just import the Solana Center's ethic and that vision statement straight to Sacramento and then straight to the rest of the state. Because if we all cared as much up there and throughout the state as we care here, we would really live in a different world. So, thank you. So let me just say a little bit about Jessica, because this right here is a resolution recognizing her from the state Senate. So she has been honored, under her leadership, the Solana Center was honored with the Governor's Environmental and Economic Leadership Award in 2016 and the Organics Diversion Program of the Year recognition from the United States Composting Council in 2023. Let's give a big round of applause for that. And Jessica herself was featured by the San Diego Business Journal as one of its top business women in 2017. She was also named one of the journal's Women of Influence 50 over 50 in 2022. And I think I just want to also end with this statement, which I think is really important. And it's that Jessica has developed relationships with people like me who are in elected office who can really create policy change. And that type of thing has led to one of the landmark laws, SB 1383, related to organics. Jessica was involved in helping that bill come to life. And also, she significantly contributed to San Diego County's organic materials ordinance. And so some of these things come from her experience seeing, hey, we're not able to compost on a school's campus the food that they're eating on the campus. That seems crazy. What is it that's stopping us? So what are the rules that we need to change at the county level? And Jessica digs in and makes the changes and gets other people involved and calls the right people and has the meeting after meeting. And all of that is so critical to what has created her success. And I just want to end, before I bring her up here to present this to her, I just want to end with, Brooke was so great in talking about, what she was saying, one of her main points was about the recycling part, that recycling really matters. And I completely agree with that. But I want to say that the reduce and reuse part really matters. And particularly when we are talking about plastics, because the plastics industry is the oil industry. Do not be confused about that. They are going to go hard on plastics, that plastics are recyclable, that they're not a big deal, that we should actually be using more of them. And so recognizing that we need to reduce and eliminate plastics, which as you can see at this entire event, there are no plastics. Yes, exactly. Thank you, God Luck. Yes, and even, all of the things we have over here, so you put your food waste at the end of the meal, this is the type of habits that we need to have at events like this. And when I was the mayor, we had this as the Solana Center came in and their volunteers were managing the state of the city. So when we would have a big event like this, we didn't create all this waste. It was truly a zero waste event. So anyway, the bottom line is plastics are bad, and we know that here. And so let's carry that message forth, because as another visionary leader said from the CRC, he said, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but the great thing about the choir is the choir can sing. Yes, so with that.
So Catherine isn't the most inspirational speaker. I don't know who is. So wonderful to be recognized by her as inspirational. Let me take this out of my hand so I don't throw it across the room by accident. And I have a clicker. Let's give this a try. We're running low on time, and I am the last speaker before you all get to have this wonderful vegan dinner that was created by one of our staff members who is the caterer, Liz Murphy, and her business, Santosha. So it's amazing to have you all here. People have come from across the history of the organization as well as across the country. I believe we have somebody from Hawaii. We have Brooke from Massachusetts and many other places. I'm really humbled by the turnout. We didn't know how many people would come, and we sold out rather quickly. So thank you all for being here. For me, I see the pride and the focus in everybody that we reach. And I think that's evident in the pictures that are up there, whether it's children or people that we're working with on a composting workshop, any number of things. From the founding till now, we support everybody in their own environmental journey, whether that's a student, a business, a city, the county, or a household. And what I mean by that is you're on your environmental journey, we're going to meet you there and we're going to help you get to the next step. And I think that's a really important thing that Solana Center does. As you've heard, Solana Center influences legislative change, regional programming, and state initiatives. But I'm still worried. You hear youth say that they want to change the world. I want to make sure they have a world to change. And it's not clear at this point where we're headed. I'll tell you a little bit about where we are at Solana Center right now. We're an award-winning nonprofit, as you've heard, with recognition at the national, state, and local levels. We're consistently ahead of the legislation, showing how change should look. And I think you've heard that from some of the speakers. And sometimes this requires a little rule breaking, but as Encinitas Mayor Tony Kranz recently noted, Solana Center is good at explaining the reasons that the rules need to be broken. So I was very pleased to hear that. At our site, we use the land to test out ideas and demonstrate concepts. We have 22 staff, 3 company vehicles, 4 departments, 400 active volunteers that give 2,500 hours per year of their own time. We are regularly mentioned in the media, and we are sought after for speaking engagements. And to me, as the director, our financials are strong, or at least they're stronger than they have been for some time. So I'm going to focus now on what's coming next. I like to say that we have our boots on the ground and our eyes on the horizon. And what I mean by that is that we are helping everybody implement what they can do right now, and we're keeping an eye on what's coming next. To paraphrase Bill Gates, it's human nature to overestimate the change that will occur in the next 2 years and underestimate the change that will occur in the next 10. And I think that's very true in the environmental realm. And I have to say, in my experience, I can't believe that it's going to take 2 years. We're building this climate resource center at a new home, and I have a timeline of about 2 years, and I can't believe it's going to take us 2 years, and I'm sure it's probably going to take us even longer. But I also look back on the 10 years that I've been at Solana Center, and I cannot believe all that we've accomplished. The Climate Resource Center is the natural evolution of our current site, which has green living tours, tool lending library, electronic waste drop-off, as you've heard. It's going to be an opportunity, to my mind, to host the world's most replicated climate solutions center. We're going to be really leading in what's possible. In terms of programs on the horizon, it's really all about the next wave of diversion. I see opportunity for a closed loop food system where we're self-reliant within the San Diego region. I think that's very doable. We have the largest number of farms of any county and the largest number of organic farms of any county in the United States. And at the same time, we are throwing away so much organic waste. It's ending up in the landfills. And inappropriately being discarded. The work that we do is about donating food, actually first preventing food waste, donating food, and making sure that it's disposed of properly. But imagine a closed loop system in which the food waste is used to be composted or anaerobically digested and used within our own system here. Other programs include the hard-to-recycle items. We've gotten started with textiles, the electronic waste, plastic film, construction and demolition materials, and a further program is decarbonization. You're probably hearing about city governments and probably the state of California that's moving away from having natural gas appliances in buildings and in homes. So we have an induction cooktop loaner program, and you'll see more of these types of things in the future. and also a greater emphasis on bilingual education. We've been going that path for some time, and I think it's really important to invest in. I'm getting signals from the back, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. We work very hard on partnerships. We have a climate change panel at La Jolla Music Society coming June 6th, and that's all about reaching a new community of people, a new population that's not necessarily thinking about how climate change is impacting them. We're also working with Dr. Bronners, who's a lead sponsor and has a full table of staff here tonight. I'm so excited about that. We tested different Dr. Bronner solutions to find out which would be the most appropriate for cleaning your kitchen caddy, because if you don't know, but the most we're hitting resistance with the curbside compost program because of the ick factor. And Dr. Bronners is helping us and supporting us in making that solution possible. And we also, a couple years ago, we were on the back of Kashi Granola Bar. So I'm excited about that collaboration. And lastly, we are also collaborating with Senator Blakespear's office to reach a broad statewide audience regarding recycling. We're putting together a webinar. The last thing to tell you about is really near and dear to my heart. It's research and innovation. Now that we're financially secure, and we got here in recent years with programs and services that have payback, in other words, fee for service, what I want to do are things that don't necessarily have an immediate return. It's like curbside recycling in the past, which set us in such great motion forward. I envision an endowment for studies to demonstrate replicable innovation. For 10 years, I've talked about bioremediating the brown field that's right next to our site, where Mayor Kranz used to dig in the dirt. It's an empty lot, and it ought to be bioremediated. These kinds of things take time and money, and there's not people to support them right now, but they need to happen. We also plan to introduce a national Train the Trainer curriculum for managing surplus food in businesses. And the last, oh, it's not the last, I'll keep going here. Sorry about that, I've got lots of dreams here. Is data analysis. We have a gold mine of data from the field work that we do. Our food cycle community compost programming saw a 50% reduction in food waste. 50% is the nation's goal. So how did the people who participated in our program, what motivated them? I want to find out. I want to do a study to survey those people and find out what they did. We also have data from hundreds of inspections at businesses. And for example, I'd like to find which intervention methods at food establishments have had the most impact on food waste. I want to know how far donated food is traveling. And this all takes the effort and money. It's a long game. And the last thing to tell you about, truly, is the picture there is in April. It's the copy from Biocycle magazine. We proposed an alternative depiction of the food system. And in that, we're challenging the EPA's linear schematic. The EPA sees that you can start with feeding people, and at the end, if you still have leftover food waste, you can put it in the trash or incinerate it. I don't think that's necessary. I think it's a closed-loop system. And wide adoption of this type of model will inform children, how children learn about the food system, how policymakers create new legislation, and how businesses handle excess food. But again, it takes money. Okay, very last thing is all the people that make this happen. So let's do it real quick, but hands raised of staff, please. I want you all to know who contributes. And our amazing board of directors are all here. Yay, thank you so much. And all the volunteers that make it possible for Solana Center to do the work that they do. A very big thank you to our event sponsors, the partners that we have, our donors, and the policymakers that all contribute to everything that we do. We're all contributing to building a world our children will want to live in, and I appreciate that very deeply. Thank you.
Wow. She loves it when everyone does that. So I'm going to skip a few of these sections of the end to get us to dinner. So thank you, Jessica. And thank you for your attention. I hope you've all learned a few new things and were moved in some way by our story. I love this organization. Now I love it even more after her talk. I mean, I'm blown away. I hope you can grow to love it and love it as much as I do.